the end of 2023, and we're getting questions about how we can create a headcount forecast in Analyst Intelligence platform. And super simple, you open it up and you can create your headcount forecasting rules. I only have a few different types of employees that I have here, but you could duplicate and create your own very, very easily. For full-time, I have headcount count, which means I want to count the number of rows within the table, which is each one of those is an employee. And I want to take the salary column and divide by 12. And those rules are very straightforward. I mean, everything's in plain English, super intuitive, almost no learning curve at all. So this one is I want to take the salary column and divide by 12. And you can see how easy that is to update. Okay. And so I create my rules. Once I create my rules, I just hit next. Now you can create your template. If you're working off of a Google Sheet like this one, where you have your current and your open headcount, then you can just simply take the columns and match those up. And that's what I've done here. So I have my exact columns and I just hit next. And here is my blank template. So now I've created my template. Now here's the tricky thing. I've got my current headcount in one tab and I've got my open headcount in another tab. Well, you could easily load that data. So I could just click this reload or refresh button and I could load each one individually, but our platform has automations built in all over the place. So with this automation, what I'm doing is I'm clearing any prior headcount that might exist in my headcount roster, and then I'm pasting in the new one. So I'm going to take that current headcount roster that you saw, and I'm going to paste it into the consolidated one. I'm going to take the open one and paste it into the consolidated one. And then I'm going to update or clean up some of the data. So if there was like a missing employee type or something like that, I might want to fill that in. And all of this is like with a very clean no code interface. So there's no learning curve here either. So once I've run that process, let's go back and we can look at our headcount table. Sorry, here we are. Here's our headcount table. It is now fully populated with those two headcount data sources, current and open positions. So just continuing next, let's go ahead and create our headcount forecast. Do I want to do January through December? Yeah, I think I do. Let's go ahead and do that. So hit generate forecast. This is now applying all of those calculations that we created for each individual employee type to every single employee within the list. So the good thing about that is that you get really, really detailed headcount calculations at the employee ID level. So you can always drill down into the lowest level, and I'll show you that in a second. So that headcount forecast has now been generated. It's asking me if I want to add some more automations. Oftentimes people like to push this data to different places, or they want to add more calculations and so forth. But I'll just view the actual forecast. And you can see now that I've about almost 4,000 rows of data. And you can see that this is TBH1 is the employee ID. And you can see that there's a bunch of dates and amounts. So one forecast for each amount for each type of calculation. And I added the GL account. So that's this now. Now what do we do with it, right? Well, we can pipe that into different visualization tools. So I like to use Metabase. That's my personal favorite. So I've created this Metabase dashboard here, which makes it super easy for me to get on the same page with the different departments. But very easily, you could go back into your Google Sheet. Here, you could just hit your refresh button, and then all of a sudden, your data is going to be refreshed, build your pivot tables, refresh the pivot tables, and then all of a sudden, everything is up and running. Your models are all refreshed. So super easy to keep everything in sync and generate very, very detailed headcount forecasts.